So hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Deepa and this is Divine Tarot by Deepa Sri. So I'm back here to decode what is the energy between the divine masculine and the divine feminine and what's happening in the twin flame belt. I'm here to decode and tell you guys, So let's get started. And today another iconic transit is happening, that is your Jupiter is finally getting exalted, where I have in my birth chart. And I always said, I made a video which is called the Jupiter the husband and Venus the wife. So Jupiter talks a lot about a transition bit from Mars to Jupiter. Jupiter talks about a transition of a divine masculine from Mars to Jupiter. So I have really seen that. So when you're achieving a sexual union, during that time you feel Mars energy. Your divine masculine is in Mars energy because it's very sexually overactive and hyperactive. And when he transitions to an inner union, which Gold Aura is an expert of, is during that time, from there you would see Mars and Jupiter energy. And in all the planets, you have the Mars and Jupiter, which are known to be best friends. So Mars, the transition from Mars to Jupiter, and when Jupiter your divine masculine is in Jupiter energy, which all talks about the things that you crave for. You divine feminines, we divine feminines crave for is commitment, is loyalty, is truthfulness. All of these which you want is a very strong Jupiter influence. So Jupiter energy, if I have to decode or connect with cards, it is you have your King of Pentacles, you have your King of Wand and King of Sword is a very strong Mars energy, but your King of Pentacles and a King of Cups, because remember that Jupiter gets exalted so Jupiter gets exalted in the house of Cancer, which is a very strong representation of a King of Cups. So that is why your King of Cups is that emotional craving. For example, if you see in the starting of the journey, the divine masculine try to hide their feelings and all of that, which is a reversal of a King of Cup. So that talks about all these cards. For example, King of Cups, the transition of a divine masculine from a King of Sword. And King of Sword is all talking about telling lies and all of that. The divine masculines are before the unawakened state, they are in that energy. So from that Mars energy transition to a Jupiter energy, which is your King of Cups and King of Pentacles, a stability you see mainly with Jupiter. So anything that you want for the transition of the divine masculine to the Jupiter energy is very important, because today on October 18th Jupiter is getting exalted in the house of Cancer, where I have in my birth chart. So Jupiter exalted all talks about that. Jupiter gets exalted in the house of Moon, which is your Cancer. It's there just for 2 months, and remember that it's also going to get retrograde in the middle. So Jupiter retrograde is all the way till March again. But Jupiter is going to be here for 2 months in the house of exaltation, and Jupiter is going to go back to the house of Gemini and again coming to the house of Cancer, where it's again going to get exalted from June next year all the way till 2027 June. So another 1 year. In the middle it is also going to go to the house of Leo. So all these transits are there, and Jupiter highly represents this kind of energy, the stability, the loyalty, the commitment and the understanding. All of these what you want to see in your divine masculine, it is going to happen. So you would be seeing it now on that thought, yes, we're going to go into the cards. I'm going to use my favorite, one of the most favorite deck, the Muse Tarot, and we're going to pick the cards and to tap into the current energy and how this Jupiter transit. Remember that planetary transit matter a lot in, the role of seeing the changes in your divine masculine. Only when you have a good Venus, a good, your Jupiter, and when Saturn permits it, you see a lot of, growth in your, in your story. For example, when I achieved union, Jupiter was very strongly in my 11th house, in the house of Aries. Yeah. And but when I achieved sexual, that 1 year, yeah, was very huge role, especially the transition of Jupiter Pisces. You know that Pisces is the own house of Jupiter. So Jupiter, when he transitioned from Pisces to Aries, that was a very significant change. And remember that, 2 years ago in 2023, Jupiter was also with Rahu. So Rahu and Ketu in astrology talk a lot about past life connection and all of that. Yeah, on that thought, I'm going to get into the cards and we are going to see what is, the energy and how this Jupiter will have a very strong influence in your twin flame journey. Okay, so universe, give me the first card. So the first card, oh my god, did we start with the 9 of sword? Yeah, so in this deck is one of those unique in cards in this deck, because 9 of sword generally talks about someone that is, in Hindi, if I have to say, haar gaya, or someone that is taken a beat, or someone whose energy, physically also drained. Because swords talks a lot about, you have wasted a lot of your mental energy also. Yeah, so this is one of those unique cards in this deck when 9 of sword feels like a 9 of cups. Yeah, so there is a lot of dream connection also happening. Yeah, so I feel that very strongly. Yeah, and also remember that color auras also matter in this journey. This is what I have discovered from 2 years experience in this journey. Yes, and what I can say is your aura. When you are a particular aura, yeah, always remember what is your strength. And I want to actually, when God and the universe permits it, actually want to make the pros and cons and how you can bring about a lot of changes with your aura in your story. Yeah, so this is one of those unique card where a 9 of sword talks has a very strong connection like a 9 of cups. Yeah, to me it talks a lot about a lot of the first thought that I got was 9 of sword is a lot of mental or verbal, because sword energy in this 9 of sword is represented as 9 of voices. So there was a lot of to and fro talk, yeah, between in your family, in your friends, in your XYZ. There is a lot of voices, a lot of talk, a lot of blabbering and all of that. So it was very significant. Yes, so 9 of voices to me talks a lot about that kind of energy where a lot has been said. Yeah, in a lot has been spoken. And I feel like in your case, for example, in my case, even there was a verbal verbal misbehavior between me and my twin as well. So I see that also happened in your journey, and let me tell you, it's a part of the journey. So now what next? Yeah, so universe, what next? Yeah, so we have the strength. So I am feeling like someone is retrospecting. So when you get a Jupiter, Jupiter makes you sit down, Jupiter makes you think. So Jupiter in Cancer would do that. Yeah, because Cancer, if you see, is the typical 4th house. If you go from your Kalpurish Rasi, or you count from Aries, Aries, Taurus, Gemini and Cancer is the 4th house. In astrology, 4th house all talks about your heart space. It talks a lot about your mother. It talks a lot about, what is happening in your house environment. Yeah, 4th house. And someone can also be in the house of, in the area of real estate, into construction and all of that. Someone's divine masculine is stepping into that. A lot of real estate connection, because strength card if I have to connect the strength card with astrology, it talks a lot about 4th house, which is all representing the mom energy, the mother energy, the real estate, or everything related to your 4th house, your share market, your mother, moon, very strong moon influence, because if you go from your Aries and count till Cancer, Cancer falls in the 4th house. So Jupiter is one of those great planets that makes you think that what are you doing, why, and if there is a lot of discipline in my life, it is because I have Jupiter exalted with 7th Shani seeing my Lagna. Yeah, so that kind of what is right and wrong and all of that thoughts, and it also makes you liberal. Jupiter makes you think that you need not be in the traditional way. Yeah. So all of these thoughts, all of these retrospection is what is happening in the divine masculine belt. Yeah. So moving on, what is the next card? So we have the 7 of Pentacles. So which all again talks about a lot about house, lot of house energy. So divine masculine is very strongly. So I have seen one thing, like the divine feminines change career in this journey. Yeah. Even the divine masculines do when they are reaching, when they are stepping up. So when they are stepping up in their journey, they also start realizing in the field that they were in. Yeah, for example, in V's case, very strong acting. He has realized all the pros, cons in that, and what he loved and he has passion is slowly, it starts fading away. So like that, your divine masculine may also be in a particular field, like anything to do with government, anything to do with business, anything to do in the line of I know many divine masculines that are in various fields. Yeah, who are in army, who are like my grandfather in navy. I know 3 divine masculine like that. Yeah, so all of that, there is a change. So what you started off with, there is a typical change. So here I am very strongly tapping into that, because Jupiter is all-rounder planet. It makes you think about your career choices, about your lifestyle choices, about your personality choices, about your love life, about your commitment and all of that. So during this phase, if there is a physical disconnect, if there is a distance between the divine masculine and the karmic, it is happening for your good. And in astrology, in astrology and the tarot connection, strength card very strongly again talks a lot about, even if it's a Leo card, has a very strong influence of Jupiter, because strength talks a lot about Jupiter. Yeah. Okay, so moving on, let's see what's the next card. So I can see 5 of Wands. So all the past experiences, the past behavior is a point of reflection. It's a lot to do with you, because here if you see, it's like that the divine feminine. That is why I love this deck, because this deck represents a lot about what's happened really. So 5 of Wands talks about all that. Generally if you talk, if I go by traditional Redavite meaning, it talks a lot about all the tiff or all the fight and all of that. But here I'm seeing a retrospection about a lot of behavior. Yeah. So your divine masculine, because Jupiter makes you do that. Jupiter makes you retrospect how you were in the past. What are all the mistakes which you did? Yes. So moving on, let's see what is it. Oh my God, did we get a high priestess? A lot to do with you. Yeah. Everything is now revolving around you, because you're the divine masculine. Generally, after what happens with the divine feminine, they start making the right choices in their life. So all somewhere you played the stepping stone, or you played the learning lesson. Yeah, divine feminine. So I am seeing that whatever happened with you, for example, this is so true, because what happened with me, I've seen a lot of change in V after my experience, because I've seen that divine feminines are very blunt. Yeah. So that bluntness kind of plays a very huge role in, teaching the divine masculine. Yeah. So I see that a lot. Yeah. So High Priestess talks a lot about retrospection, talks a lot about moon. It's a very strong moon card again. Yeah. So then we have the card of Page of Wands. Yeah. So step by step there is a change. There is a a lot of changes that the divine masculine is doing in every area of his life. Yeah. And everything making you the source, and you are like the sun. Yeah, like the gold aura. You are like the sun that your person is seeing, that this is the goal, and what all I can make this changes around this particular sun, that is you, around this person, around the divine feminine. So everything is around you, but it's happening at a very slow pace. So yeah, moving on, let's see what's the next card. Wow. So we have a 10 of Wands. Yeah. So the one thing that I want to tell you in this journey that is super important is, for example, when I started out this journey, the one thing that we always connected to me was my understanding power, how I understand. That is a very strong connection. That is exactly your inner union, where I always say gold is an inspiration for that. So that you understand your divine masculine so well. Like, you trust that there is this hidden part. Like, for example, I always trusted this hidden part in me. Yeah. So I always was waiting out for that to flourish, for that to blossom. Yeah. And in this, if I have to give the worst example, is a purple aura. A purple aura never understands their divine masculine and always plays the blame game. And this I'm going to tell in the purple aura video. The Chugal core purple aura. Yeah. That's my title for my purple aura. Yeah. When I make the video. Yeah. So in this, gold teaches you that how you connect, how you bring out that version. And let me tell you, I have seen this after after I connected with the divine masculine, my twin flame and divine masculine, my soulmate 3. So I have seen that how a divine feminine can bring about a huge change in the divine masculine. Yeah. So to me it talks about that. So for my other orange aura and green aura, divine feminine, I see that you are almost reaching the end. This is where inner union talks about. So you have finally figured out the connection. From here is when you click with the gold like me, gold aura like me. Yeah. So from there you click, after you achieved inner union, that what I'm talking about, what is going on and all of that. Yeah. So on that thought, my lovelies, I think it's a wrap to the video. Yes. So on that thought, my lovelies, I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Yes, with another video, with another connection, with a connection of what is happening in your connection and what is the energy between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, what's happening with the auras and all of that. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Until then, this is Deepa bidding a bye. Bye guys.